Hello, everyone. If we can, I think we're ready to get started. My name is Nidia Cordova. I'm the Alumni Relations Manager at the CUNY School of Professional Studies. I am also a student in the Master's in Youth Studies program here at CUNY SPS. I'd like to start by welcoming all CUNY alumni and guests to our sixth annual CUNY Multi-Campus Alumni and Career event. Before we get started, I want to take this opportunity to thank our amazing career services team at CUNY SPS for teaming up for this event. The goal of the multi-campus alumni and career networking event has remained the same, which is to offer a broader opportunity for CUNY graduates to collaborate and connect. 6 years ago, this event originally began with only 4 CUNY campuses. And this year, I am so very proud to say that this evening we have graduates from a total of 12 CUNY campuses, which includes the CUNY School of Professional Studies, the New York City College of Technology, Baruch College, Brooklyn College, City College of New York, the College of Staten Island, the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism, the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, the Graduate Center, Gutman Community College, Lehman College, and York College. Thank you so much to our participating CUNY campuses and to all of you for attending this evening. And please reach out to the alumni office at your school. Trust me, we want to hear from you. So we have a wonderful program planned for you this evening, but first I would like to introduce my wonderful colleague, Trang-La Chen, who is the Director of Alumni Engagement and Development at the New York City College of Technology. Trang will provide some information about this evening.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nidia, for getting us started. Good evening. I hope you all are well, and thanks for joining us. My name again is Trang-La Chen, the Director of Alumni Engagement at City Tech for short. And this is actually one of my favorite workshops because because I love collaboration. And I love the idea of our alums getting together across all the different CUNY campuses. So with that, I want to acknowledge a warm welcome to our newest members this year, School of Labor and Union Studies, College of Staten Island, Lehman College, and Baruch College. I mean, this is wonderful to have them this year. And like Nidia said, it keeps growing, and I'm really excited about this. So before we get started, let me go over some housekeeping instructions for tonight. So please make sure to use your speaker view on your Zoom settings, just to make sure it's a little focused when our presenter is presenting her information. The workshop is being recorded with audio captioning. Participants will receive the recording after the event, and sometimes we also give out resources and handouts to all. So make sure you check your email after the event. And then during the presentation, please make sure to use the chat box to submit any questions that you might have to myself or Nidia. And we will help facilitate questions for our presenter during the Q&A session. Anytime you wish to speak after she finishes up her presentation, please make sure to raise your hand. You could use a little reaction button, or you could just kind of wave it like this as well, just to get our attention. And, after the event, there will be information as well on the CUNY Alumni Activation Program from the Office of Career and Industry Partners. So Nicola Clemens is not able to be here with us today. So at the end, we're going to show some slides, and then please feel free to take down her information, and please feel free to reach out with her with any questions you might have. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Sydney Ko, who is a fellow CUNY alum, who also graduated from Baruch and has been working in development and alumni relations for the past decade now. So Sid, take it away.
Thank you. As Trang just mentioned, I graduated from Baruch College, where our alumni network is over 165 members strong and growing. Just last month, we welcomed over 5,700 new alumni at commencement. If there are any new grads here, congratulations, you guys made it. You're joining this prestigious CUNY alumni network. We're thrilled to have you here. The Alumni Relations Office at Baruch will be planning a number of in-person and online events. So be sure to check out our website for all the events going on. And if you have not received our emails currently, please reach out to let us know so that we can make sure we have your current contact information. Now onto our featured speaker. Denise Patrick not only graduated from Baruch, but also spent over 25 years working for the college as a professor, lecturer, and administrator. She has received numerous teaching and leadership awards and is well respected and popular among students. But you don't have to take my words for that. She's highly rated on Rate My Professors. Denise is currently the CEO of D. Patrick Consulting, which teaches, leads, and inspires clients to reach their goals through executive coaching, leadership, development, and change management. We're so grateful that Denise is joining us today to share her insights, expertise, tips, and tricks on how we can all lead with confidence. Now, let's see if Denise is ready to go. One second, let's see if Denise might be having connection issues. All right, I guess while we wait for Denise to resolve her connection issues, if some of you want to unmute and tell us which college you are joining from.
Hi, my name is Andrea Perry. I just graduated from SUNY School of Professional Studies. It took me 28 years to graduate, but I did it. I mean, I dropped out. I dropped out of school 28 years ago with the birth of my son. So I decided to go back during the pandemic. So I got it done.
Amazing.
So I'm super excited about that. So thank you for having me.
Congratulations and welcome to the alumni family. Okay, I think Denise is here and ready to get going. If anyone. Okay.
Hello. I don't want to interrupt. I know you were about to say something. So.
No, we were just asking some folks to unmute and tell us which college they graduated from or what they're affiliated with.
Oh,
get prepared.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Yay. Oh, I'm glad I am here. I am so glad to see people here this evening. So if you don't mind, which I'm sure you won't, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. How's that sound? I love it. So first of all, thank you for your patience. When you have back-to-backs and my back-to-back went over one more minute than it should have. But this is really important for me to get to talk with all of you tonight. So I really hope that we'll be able to have an exciting and a fun time together and that you'll get to learn a lot and that you'll get to ask questions as well. So I'm going to set my little notes up here and make sure that I'm all set. And then I'm going to get you ready for what we're going to talk about this evening. Here we go. Oh, this is lovely. All right, so as you now know, my name is Dr. Denise Patrick, and it really is a genuine joy to be here and to sit in front of so many City University of New York alum. I am pleased to see that you're joining us from wherever you happen to be. Welcome to those of you who are newer alums, and welcome to those of you who are seasoned alums. I like to use that word, right? And I want to say that I'm here not only as a speaker, but also as a very proud CUNY alum. And if there are any Baruch people who are on this call, I want to see some emojis fly through because I am truly a proud, well, I guess we weren't Bearcats at that time, but right, I'm a true Bearcat. Yes, I love it. So before I really get started and start talking about this, I have to make sure that I thank Nydia and I thank Trang for inviting me to speak at this event. I really also want to make sure that we all collectively thank the amazing and the valuable people who staff our CUNY alumni offices. They do incredible work with very limited resources. And for them to take their personal time and their work time to make sure that all of you have fantastic events. Let's all just please, I'm going to add an emoji in here, but let's please put like a little heart emoji or something that's in there so that we can show them some love. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Tonight, yeah, put it in the chat too, because then it stays there, right? So tonight, I really hope to inspire you. But before I get into inspiring you, I want you to treat my talk this evening kind of like a video podcast, right? So no PowerPoint deck, no sliding back and forth, no jumping in and out or anything like that. We will take some time after I finish talking to have you all do some chatting with each other. But what you will receive once the event is over is a file or a link to a leadership communication development guide to help you plan your next steps as a confident leader. Now, tonight, I really want to inspire you, and I believe by inspiring you that inspires me as well. I want us tonight to leave renewed and excited about our careers and our professional paths. I hope that we can be re-energized about orchestrating our futures and our lives. And I want you to hold that term of orchestrating in your mind because I'm going to come back to it. So, as a rhetorical question, if you could think of any special time when you felt truly engaged, and whether that's on campus or at work, I want you to put that in your mind, right? Can you think of any special times when you felt truly engaged? And that might have been a moment when you were authentically you, taking the lead or being driven by a passion. So hold on to that thought as we embark on our exploration to lead with confidence. Now, confidence, I want us to define that because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. So confidence is a belief in oneself. It's an inner conviction of one's abilities and talents and qualities. It's the assurance that we can navigate challenges, that we can take risks, and we can face the unknown. It's fueled by self-trust and faith in our capacity to succeed. Now, confidence is also something that many people struggle with. I don't know about you, but I sometimes will struggle with having a little bit of confidence. I know you might not believe that, the people who know me, right? But I do, and I think we all do, depending upon our circumstances. Now, you might be familiar with Sheryl Sandberg, right, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Meta, which used to be Facebook. And she's recently announced, probably 14 days ago, that she is stepping down from her role to pursue something else and start her next chapter. Now, if you remember, she's the author of the book Lean In, and she highlights a concept called the confidence gap, where people, especially women, tend to underestimate their abilities and are less likely to take risks or pursue opportunities because of self-doubt. So I'm hoping that by the end of this evening that we'll be able to close that gap a little bit by reflecting on our vulnerabilities, by our challenges, but even more so on our strengths. So allow me to use an analogy or a metaphor of an orchestra as I talk with you. So I want you to imagine a grand orchestra in your mind. You're at the symphony. And if you haven't gone, I don't know, go onto YouTube and just check out a really good one. Look up something by like Leonard Bernstein, right? To see what those beautiful orchestras do. Each instrument in the orchestra represents an element of our professional development. So leadership, engagement, authenticity, and drive. We are the conductors of this orchestra, leading it to play the symphony of our success in our careers. And the baton that we hold in our hands, it's our communication. It's the tool that enables us to bring harmony to the orchestra, to turn individual notes into a very powerful symphony so that we can lead with confidence. So when I talk about leadership, what comes to your mind when you hear that word leadership? Well, perhaps you might imagine a CEO making critical company decisions, or a manager or a senior vice president or a chancellor or an executive vice president or an executive director who guides their teams to success. You might think of the CEO who will also make those critical decisions. And while those images are not incorrect, they capture only a portion of what true leadership entails. Now, Peter Northouse defines leadership with 4 major components. And these are the 4, right? And it's really crucial that you get these 4. Leadership is a process, number 1. Second, it involves influence. Third, it occurs in groups. And fourth, leadership involves common goals. So we end up with this great definition of leadership from Northouse, who says this: leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Leadership in its most effective form isn't merely about a title or a position or about authority. It transcends those superficial boundaries. True leadership, that is true leadership, is about influencing others. It's about inspiring action and change. It's about making a lasting impact. It is about your ability to navigate through challenges, to motivate others, to guide, not with an iron fist or with directives, but with vision and with compassion and with integrity. So I'm wondering if any of you have hypothetically ever taken a moment to reflect on the dawn of your leadership journey. Where did it all begin? If you picture yourself in your first leadership role, it might have been in middle school. It might have been in high school if you played sports or were in theater or you were on a debate team. It might have been in college where maybe you were a president or on the EV board, right? The executive board for a student club. It might be your first role in business, your very first thing where you've gotten your first project that you could actually facilitate. Those initial experiences tend to be filled with a mix of excitement and of apprehension. Those were the humble beginnings of the leader within you, and I submit that we all have the leader within us. If you could think back to that first time that you had a leadership role, try to remember the thrill of achieving a collective goal, the lessons that you learned from any obstacles that you may have encountered, but also the sweet satisfaction of seeing people around you grow. Those early leadership roles were the little seedlings that have now bloomed into the leader that you are today. The essence of leadership always remains the same. The context may change, the stakes may be higher, but at its core, it's still about influencing and inspiring others towards a common goal. Embracing and enhancing our leadership skills unlocks doors we have never even considered. It's not always about being the manager or the senior vice president or the CEO, although I suspect some of you might disagree and say, well, of course it is. That's where you want to go. Well, that might be where you want to go, but at the end of the day, it's about being the leader, regardless of what your job title is. It's about driving change, making significant contributions, and leading by example. So as you navigate your career path, I want you to remember to do what Sheryl Sandberg says and to lean into those skills, nurture them, build on them, and let them guide you as you make your mark in the world. Now, we've talked about the L, which is leadership. And so now we want to look at engagement. Jim Rohn, an entrepreneur, an author, and a motivational speaker, once said, "The few who do are the envy of the many who only watch." Now, I know somebody's going, what was that? I'll say it again. I love this quote. The few who do are the envy of the many who only watch. Think about this. The word engagement in itself radiates energy. It signifies being completely immersed, fully present, and actively involved. It's not just about doing a job. It's about us being emotionally and intellectually invested in it. Engagement isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Very much like leadership, engagement has its roots anchored in our experiences. Think about a time when you were working on a project, and this is going way back into school, right? You were working on a project in one of your favorite classes. I know for me, it was any one of my communication classes. I loved my communication classes. I can recall how passionate I would get about the topics. I can remember how spending hours on a project or on an assignment only really felt like minutes, sometimes, not always, right? I was fully immersed in not only completing a task or completing the project, but being an active participant in that process. Now, picture taking that same level of engagement into the professional world and your career development path. It can certainly drastically change any of the dynamics. Research tells us, all kinds of research, right? Even my own for my dissertation, tells us that high engagement levels lead to increased job satisfaction. It leads to better performance and improved interactions with colleagues. When we are truly engaged, we don't just do a job, we add value. We contribute in a way that is unique only to us. But some of you are asking in your heads, I guess, how can we maintain engagement throughout our entire career? That's incredibly difficult. It is difficult and it is challenging, particularly as we navigate through different stages of our careers. I promise you, I have had my own challenges, and I guarantee you I'm even having my own challenges now. The key that I have found is to stay connected to your passion. You must stay connected to your passion, the thing that drives you, to keep learning and growing and to find value and purpose in what you do. You have to discover your why. When we align our work with our interests and values, engagement happens organically. And what's the result of that? It's not just you who will benefit. Engaged people bring creativity and passion into their work roles, which can have a profound impact on their teams and on their organizations. Engaged entrepreneurs, if you want to go down that path of entrepreneurship, and it's a fantastic journey, I tell you, to actually be the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs who are engaged will develop a positive work environment, will develop a great group of clients who truly respect what you do and want to work with you. And you will build, or entrepreneurs will build, strong professional relationships. These people are the ones, entrepreneurs and engaged people, are the ones who make the difference. They are the ones who don't just watch, but they do. Now, I can pause right here, and I think I will just for a second. And if you have any thoughts or questions, I'm going to encourage you to please place them into the chat and let Nydia and Sydney and et al. Right, take a peek at what you have in terms of questions or comments. As you're writing those, if you have any questions or some insights and comments, I'm going to continue on with the rest of our journey through this symphony with our orchestra. So now we've reached the A, the authenticity. And this is the word I think that so many people really struggle with, and struggle because they're thinking about authenticity in terms of who they are as an individual and how that fits into the workplace. Leader and author Brené Brown, I think, really captures this very well, this idea of authenticity. She says, quote, "Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every single day. It's about the choice to show up and be real." Now, in a room with a bunch of people who are probably New Yorkers, we're going to say we're keeping it real. The choice is to be honest. The choice is to let our true selves be seen. I want us to contemplate this idea of authenticity and what it means in our own lives. It is being true to ourselves. It is about embracing our strengths and acknowledging our weaknesses. It is about expressing our ideas and opinions honestly and not simply mirroring what we think other people want to hear. It's when we align our work and our interactions with our core beliefs, our core values, and our principles. What's beautiful about authentic people is that they don't hide behind anything. They don't hide behind a facade or bend to fit into some pre-described mold. Authentic people bring their true selves to their professional roles. We have to understand that authenticity requires that sense of self-awareness. It requires integrity. But most importantly, it requires courage. When we bring our authentic selves into our work environments, we inspire others to also be their authentic selves, especially when we are the leaders. We can create a culture where everyone feels valued and heard. And so at the end of the day, we want to dare to be authentic. We want to have the courage to show up and let our true selves shine. Now, what about drive? That last letter in the word lead, as we lead to confidence. Thomas Jefferson, you remember him, right? Thomas Jefferson, this guy, this popular guy, he once said, "Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." Okay, now I know that flew over somebody's head, so I'm going to say that again. Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. Now, when I thought about this quote, I thought, this is quite powerful in that little sentence. It hits home on what drive is really about. It tells us that when you have a positive, determined mindset, which is the very essence of drive, that you can become an unstoppable force in achieving your goals. With drive, you're armed with the resilience to bounce back from setbacks, with the tenacity to face challenges, and the grit to chase your goals no matter what. But without even the most favorable circumstances, or without this drive, rather, without the winning attitude, even the most favorable circumstances won't lead you to success. In essence, it is our internal drive, not anything external. It's our internal drive that really sets the stage for our achievements. Drive is that inner force that will propel us forward towards our goals. Drive is the motivation that fuels our ambition. Drive is what pushes us to exceed our own expectations and to continually strive for excellence. Drive is the difference between doing a job and building a career. Drive is the engine that propels us forward. Drive pushes us to seize opportunities, to overcome challenges, and to keep moving towards our aspirations. With drive, we become the architects of our own success. We can carve out our own unique path and make a meaningful impact in what we do. For all of us who are here, we have to remember that drive is not just important, it is essential. It's our drive that will differentiate us from all the others. It is our drive that will determine how far we can go and what heights we can reach. So, I'm going to stick with my orchestra metaphor. And let's begin to draw our symphony to its finale. Let's turn our attention to communication. If you've ever watched a symphony, if you've ever watched an orchestra, we know that we have the conductor, and it is the conductor's job to not just dictate the tempo or the cue for the musicians. Everyone must, or the conductor must understand, interpret, and communicate the composer's vision to their orchestra in a way that creates a unified, beautiful harmony. And when they do it well, it's phenomenal. Similarly, communication in the professional sphere isn't just about transmitting information. It's about understanding, interpreting, and conveying our visions and ideas effectively, building a rapport with others, and fostering a culture of open dialogue and mutual respect. Now, what is it that separates good communication from great communication? The answer lies in active listening. This is an art, and it is an art that transcends the boundaries of regular hearing. It involves understanding the context, deciphering nonverbal cues, acknowledging the speaker's sentiments, and providing appropriate responses. Active listening allows us to form a genuine connection with a speaker, validating their thoughts and emotions and showing empathy. This not only encourages open communication, but also fosters trust and respect, which are critical. They are crucial for leaders in building professional relationships. One of my favorite quotes, if not my absolute favorite quote about communication, comes from George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw says, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place." Oh, I think I need to say that again. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. We do not want to fall into the illusion. We want to take active steps as effective and strong leaders to ensure that our messages are not just heard, but understood. and our voices not just loud, but clear. Beyond active listening, executive communication involves clear and concise expression of ideas, encouraging open feedback and a display of empathy. Whether we are interacting with colleagues or leading a team or discussing strategies or persuading senior executives, honing those skills can be instrumental in advancing our career. I promise you that it is true. Moreover, it is important to remember that communication is a process. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. It's about understanding your audience and delivering your message in a way that resonates with them. It's about being open to feedback and being adaptable. As you transition, or I should say, as we transition from one stage in our careers to another, refining our communication process is going to be key. By enhancing our leadership, engagement, authenticity, and drive, and complementing them with strong communication skills, we can ensure that our individual melodies contribute to a magnificent symphony in our professional lives. Just like the conductor leading an orchestra, we too can create harmony in our organizations and steer them towards collective success. So let's weave this all together. Think of yourself as a conductor of an orchestra, where each musician is an aspect of your professional growth. Leadership, engagement, authenticity, and drive. Each has a unique and vital role, and each contributes to the symphony of your success. As the conductor, you need to ensure that all the various parts of the orchestra come together to produce a cohesive and beautiful sound. I'll break it down this way. Leadership is like the first violin, setting the tone and direction for the entire orchestra. Engagement is like the harmonious rhythm section, and it keeps you actively involved, passionate, and committed to your work. Authenticity is your melody, an honest expression of who you are, resonating with those around you. Drive is very much like dynamics that fuel the intensity and passion of the performance, and it pushes forward through crescendos and pulling back for moments of quiet reflection. Just as the conductor uses the baton to shape and guide the performance, you use your baton or communication to ensure that your leadership, engagement, and authenticity and drive don't just play independently, but that they all come together in a symphony of success. When communication is effective, it transforms the individual sounds of leadership, engagement, authenticity, and drive into a harmonious symphony. It connects, it resonates, it aligns, it turns noise into music, a group of musicians into an orchestra, and a professional into a leader. As we embark on our professional journeys, let's not forget this vital role of communication. It's the thread that weaves together the very fabric of our professional growth. It's transforming individual strengths into what is a powerful, cohesive force. It's not just a tool, but it's an art form that we should continually refine. For it is through communication that we truly lead to our fullest potential. So before we move into questions and answers and networking and all of that, I want to leave you all with a challenge. Embrace your role as the conductor of your professional life. You are in control of your growth and your path. Step onto the podium of leadership, tune into engagement, compose the melody of authenticity, and orchestrate with drive. But never forget to wield your baton of communication, because that is how you will transform the distinct sounds into a symphony, a group of individuals into a team, and an ordinary career into an extraordinary one. So, my dear fellow CUNY alum and everyone else, it's time to pick up your baton. It's time to step up to the podium and start conducting. The orchestra awaits. It's ready to follow your lead. I'm excited to see all of the beautiful symphonies that each one of us will create as we lead with confidence. Thank you, and keep making beautiful music.
Well, thank you, Denise. We definitely have a lot of questions in the chat box for you. So I'm going to start off with the first question. So it's by Raz Rivera. And she says here, I totally agree that I should follow my passion. But what if the money is not on the same level as my passion? That's a great question.
That's an excellent question. I think one of the things that you want to think about is understanding your worth while you think about your passion. And what do I mean by that? For me, for many years, and I have to be anecdotal, I have to give a personal example here. So for me, I know that when I started my journey working in life, there was some point where I was very passionate about helping people, right? And teaching and doing all these wonderful things. And I started very early in my career with actually teaching at elementary schools, right? At private elementary schools. And then there was a point where I realized, okay, but the money is not there. And so what I had to consider is, how can I find something that will be financially rewarding for me, as well as personally rewarding for me? And so what you do is, or what I did is I began to try to find different opportunities where I could start to either move up or move over and then up, or to move into an industry perhaps that I might not have considered, so that I could have the financial reward as well as the personal reward. The second thing that I would say around that question is, it is going to take time. I find that, and I still occasionally teach, I still teach, I'm teaching another class, actually not tonight, but next week. What I find with either undergrads or like my new grad students is that they want things to happen yesterday. And it doesn't happen yesterday. You have to put in the work and the time, and you want to be strategic about how you always marry your passion with your financial reward. Okay, so when you think about how can I do something that I'm passionate about, but then also find the financial reward that I'm looking for, take your time, talk to people, network with people, shadow people, have informative interviews with, or informational rather, interviews with people, so that you can learn and say, okay, well, what's the best way that I can marry these things together? I hope that answered the question.
Thank you. So I do have another question. How can you demonstrate engagement and authenticity when you've had a little job experience? So how can you put that on paper as far as your resume and cover letters, etc.? And this question is from Stacy.
Okay, Stacy, thank you for that question. So if I understand correctly, is how do you place that onto your resume so that when people read it, that they understand that you are engaged and that you are authentic? So let's talk a little bit about what resumes do. All right. Resumes are those things that are kind of like your calling card, right? And so as your calling card, you're just trying to get in, right? I just want you to see that I have the skill set that is available, right? Or the skill set that you need in order for you to bring me in. And then perhaps I can go into a little bit more about how I'm engaged and how I'm authentic, and you get to see that. Now, if you were trying to place that either on a resume or on a cover letter, what you can do, for example, in a cover letter is actually talk about a project where you were passionate about a project, even if it's something where you have very little work experience. So if it's something where you're coming immediately from undergrad into the workforce, then you can talk about maybe some project or an event where you were an integral part of creating this event that maybe is new on campus. And you can write very quickly about that in your cover letter. On your resume, you absolutely would want to highlight that because that's something that you want to talk about in an interview. So on your resume or on your cover letter, try to pick maybe one or two things, particularly if it's cover letter, that you can really shine about being engaged in a project or on a task. Now, authenticity is a little challenging to show on paper, right? Because on paper, people are really just looking at your skill set or your tasks or your work history. So with that, I might suggest that somewhere in your objective or in your executive summary at the top of your resume, that you talk about what kind of person you are. I am someone who is a go-getter, and please don't use that word, right? I'm just using it, for an example now. But I'm somebody who is an achiever. I'm somebody who is strategic. I'm somebody who loves to listen to people. I cherish, good ideas. And that is something that you can put on your resume up at the top as a little summary. I'm going to say one last thing about that. If any of you ever take or have taken any of those really fun personality assessments, yay, right? Those actually give you really great language. So for example, if you've done a Clifton Strengths, for example, and you can at least get your top 5, that should go somewhere on your resume or somewhere in your cover letter. If you have done something about a communication style assessment, you can talk about what kind of a communicator you are, which means perhaps I am results oriented, or I'm great at persuading, or I'm a great motivator. Okay, follow? So use those tools to help craft your resume and to help craft your cover letter. And Stacey, I hope that answered your question.
Hey, Denise, I have another one for you.
Sure.
So is from Jenny. You mentioned that leaders have a team. Is it possible for a good leader to not have a team, but still possess those high quality leadership skills?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, think about this. Not every manager actually manages people, right? So you have what we call people managers, and then you might have a manager by title, and they don't manage anybody. Leadership isn't about the idea that you actually are managing people, so to speak. And I realize I'm combining two different terms together. Leadership is about the ability to have followers. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Leadership is about your ability to have followers. So you might not have a team at all, but you may have people who are willing to follow you. You may be somebody who is maybe in the middle management, or you're even just beginning in your career, and you still have people who are following you. And they follow you because they see that you're authentic. They see that you're engaged in the work that you do. They appreciate the way that you communicate. They appreciate the way that you think, that you're creative. They appreciate the way that you listen. They appreciate the way that you take chances. And that you're not overly risk averse. So your followers could be your boss. Your followers could be your colleagues. Your followers could be somebody in a whole different department than they don't even work with you very often, but they've heard about you and they follow you. So please don't think that you have to always have a team, a literal team, in order to be a strong or effective leader.
Denise, can I just piggyback and just add one
Of course.
quick thing? Also, if you think about having a team, it doesn't necessarily also translate into a team at work, but I would think it as having your own support team, right? Your own support system, whether that team consists of a mentor, someone you go for advice, your cheerleader, like a close friend that, helps you, brainstorm things. So the word team, it really comes back to, I guess, like how you defined it yourself and what you think that team is. I mean, just a quick thing. I have my own team of folks that I go to constantly for advice on things, or, if I have a question or I'm struggling, or I'm stressed or something, this team is my support team. So try to think of that way too. Just want to share that.
That's perfect. Yes. And Trang, thank you for adding that, because we all need our board of advisors, right? Our folk, our people, right? Our tribe. We all need our tribe, or whatever you want to call it, in order for us to, really make good decisions. And hey, am I doing this the right way? Or can you introduce me to so-and-so? So I love that you added that. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So Organa asked, how do I get an employer to give me an interview? And there was a bit of back and forth in the chat, really just looking for a sure way to get that interview when you submit your application and resume.
If I could come up with that, I would be a very rich woman right now. And I really would be. I think a way to reframe that question is perhaps, how can you increase your chances for being part of that pool? Because there are no guarantees. There just aren't. And it's not even always because of you as the applicant. I'll tell you that in the past 2 years, I remember I applied for a role where I was asked to apply for a role, and then all of a sudden the role went away, right? So there was no interview, there was nothing. So it's not always about you not being the right fit. It could just be that the organization or the team or the manager or HR or whomever it is has decided this isn't just what we're going to do right now. Or I've also had the experience of getting all the way to the end, right? I was like, I'm in and picking an office and the whole bit, and then get a phone call that says, oh, we're going to go with somebody internal instead. So how do you improve your chances? Network with people, talk with people. Really, I would suggest informational interviews and using your network here, because sometimes those positions that come up may come up before they are ever even posted. And so if they come up before they're even posted, now you're already in somebody's head, right? Like, wait a minute, I just talked to so-and-so about this. I think this person would be a good fit. So keep that networking going. Also make sure that your resume, and I'm going to use my hands here, make sure that what is on your resume maps exactly with what is on a job description that you are applying for. They have to match. So if you are applying, and I'm just going to use something silly like retail, all right, just to be silly. So if you are applying for Macy's, all right, and you want to be a floor manager at Macy's in the men's department, and your resume shows that you have worked at Chick-fil-A as a cook, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. It doesn't mean they might not talk to you. But if that's all you've done and you can't match your skills that you have done at Chick-fil-A with the skills that are here in this job description, that's a very quick way of making sure that it goes into the maybe later pile. Okay, I know that was a long answer, but I hope that that answered the question. Hey, what else have we got? I love these. Keep going.
There is I guess a statement here that says, I guess where like, there is still discrimination or racism that are out there. How do we go about navigating that?
Oh, I love those questions. I get those every once in a while, right? First of all, the discrimination or the whatever the ism is going to be there. It's just out there. What you remember, I said, you and I, so we have to be conductors, right? And what the conductor does is not just bring everything together, but the conductor also leads that. So what you do is you don't let any of that stop you. I don't make it a factor anywhere in my life. I don't focus on it. And if somebody is like that, and I'm positive in my life, I have run across people, I'm positive. I know for a fact, right, that I've run across people who are somewhere in the isms, whatever it was. I can't let that be a factor and stop me. You want to focus on your skills. And I'm going to take borrow a Martin Luther King Jr. I know it's trite, but it really is true. You want to focus on the content of your character because you cannot control anybody else. You can only control you. So if and when we come up against somebody who happens to be in the ism pool, whatever that might be, I still can only control me. Now I can manage how somebody deals with me, and I can do that, but I can't control the way he or she thinks. So that might not have been the best approach, but for me, that's how that has worked. I just don't stay stuck in that. I can't, or else I won't be able to function. I wouldn't be able to have a business. I wouldn't have been able to teach where I have taught. I mean, I've taught at the Wharton School, I've taught at Temple, I've taught at Baruch. I wouldn't be out here doing work with clients out here if I started every conversation or every relationship, not conversation, but every relationship with, ooh, you're in the ism pool. I can't do that.
I hear you, Denise. I love that. I do have a question, and I get the frustration in the question. It's how can I gain experience for an entry-level job when the entry-level job asks for 4+ years experience? And so does the sub-level job. There's just always a number of years of experience. How can you gain experience?
So sometimes the experience that we gain is at the workplace, and sometimes it's outside of the workplace. I have, so I'm in Texas, in case you don't know where I am, right? So I'm in Central Texas. And when I came out here and I finished my dissertation and was trying to figure out, what do I want to be when I grow up, now that I have this degree, right? I said to myself, well, there's something that I can do to help myself learn and to help myself grow. And I put myself on a listening tour. Now, what did that mean? It means that I tried to network with as many people as I could. I went to networking events, even when personally, I would rather be sitting home doing anything but be at a networking event, because I sometimes get a little weird about that. And what I mean by weird is sometimes I'm just a little introverted, right? And what I did is I start talking to people and I started asking, well, where can I help you? And now, I can help you in part A, or I can help you do something else with a project. And it's not necessarily in my wheelhouse of work, so to speak. So when you see that they're asking for certain years of experience, maybe think about, how can I gain some of that experience through volunteering or on special projects so that you don't feel stuck, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but right, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I'm also wondering if there's some experience gained with having a mentor. Yeah.
there's experience. Okay, so there are three different ones, right, that we tend to talk about, right? So we talk about mentors, we talk about sponsors, we talk about advocates. All right. And this is where people go, okay, well, wait, what do I need all three? It's like, well, it would be lovely if we had all three, of course, right? So the mentor, that's the first thing we think about. And your mentor is somebody that you should be able to talk about anything with your mentor, right? Anything. I'm frustrated, or I want to move into a different role. How can I do this? And you let that mentor help you. Your advocate is somebody who is going to more than likely be the person that talks about you when you are not in the room. Meaning, wow, I know this job says that it has 4 years, of required experience someplace else, but I've been talking to Nydia and I really think that we should give her a shot at this. That's your advocate. Your sponsor is the one who goes, I'm taking you under my wing. You're going to sit with me at meetings. You're going to come with me to all these special events, and I'm going to be your sponsor, right? I'm going to make sure that I'm the one who makes sure that you get where you're going. So you can take all three of those, and they don't have to all be at one time, and utilize that too. The last thing that I would say about this that I just thought about is when you see a job description, the job description is asking for pretty much almost the bare minimum, right, of what we want in this role. And people often look at that list. I have done this myself and I've stopped doing it. They look at the list and they go, oh, I have everything except these 6 other things. They're probably not going to hire me. Forget it. I'm not going to do this. I just saw something on LinkedIn about a month ago, and it said, if you fulfill, I'm trying to get this right, so pardon the paraphrase, if you are fulfilling every single thing on that job description, you are probably overqualified. You want to look at job descriptions as what you can do as part of that, and also where you can grow. What's the point of having everything on there and there's no room for growth? This is where we get frustrated, right? Because we get into a role where we can do everything. And then we go, but I want to grow. And the person who hired you goes, yeah, but you do all this really well. We don't want you to leave, right? You want to grow though. So when you look at job descriptions, look and see, I have the basics. I've got that, maybe 1 or 2 of the really fun things or the juicy things. Everything else, I need to show them that I can grow into that role. I'll stop there.
So we also have another question from Rhonda. Can you offer any advice about how to maximize LinkedIn and also networking tips for people who are introverted? I also saw that Sid gave us a nice link as well in our chat box for those as well, if you want to check that out. But do you want me to repeat the question, Denise?
Please, I was getting ready to say, please read that again.
Okay. Can you offer any advice on how to maximize LinkedIn and also networking tips for people who are introverted?
Okay, I'm going to start with the second part, which is the introversion. I know how you feel. I really do. I know how it feels. I think for those of us who sit either full into introversion or even partially into introversion, we have to really pump ourselves up to go network or to talk to the stranger. I'm going to give you a tip of what I did when I came down here to Texas to talk to people. So I decided to go to a tech networking. It was a CEO, I think it was like a CEO tech networking event, right? So, I have my own business. So I'm like, okay, check, I fit the CEO thing, right? And I don't know anybody. I know no one at this event. And I can tell you, I know that I get a little a little anxious or a little bit. I start sweating a little bit more, right, than normal. And I thought, how am I going to do this? And, I had to drive and I was kind of new, so I didn't know where I was going and this whole thing. But I get there and I told myself, I only need to meet 3 people. That's it. Because if I told myself, I'm going to meet everybody, right, in there, that would be too much for me. So as the introverted person, make it a goal to say, I'm going to meet 3 people. I ended up meeting 10. 7 of them came to me, right? After I stood up and I said something at the event. So use this opportunity to tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, and have some kind of predetermined talking points in your mind. So if it's at a conference, for example, you could certainly start off with, wow, what did you think about what this person just said? Or, do you have anything to add to that? Or what do you do? I'd love to know more about what you do. Can you tell me about it? And then let them talk, and then they'll ask you questions, right? So push yourself out of your comfort zone. Now I'm going to answer the first part of the question, which is how to maximize LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you this story. I have permission to tell this story. I will not name this person, but the person happens to be a very good friend of mine. Person started to look for new work. And I said, you got to get on LinkedIn. just go try it. Just see what happens. Person got on LinkedIn, updated the profile, the whole thing, started looking for work, found something, didn't apply for it, but then all of a sudden one day, I guess a recruiter reached out to this person. End of long story, which could be a long story, is this person now has a new job. It happens to be a remote job, which is what this person was looking for. And way more money, way better treatment than the previous employer where this person was. So how do you do this? You get on there and you just kind of look and see who's out there that I can connect to. The way that you do not connect with people is to just click connect. Because if it's somebody like me, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I've made the mistake of, seeing those who are selling things sort of make it look like they want to connect with you, right? And then you connect and then they're selling you something. We don't want to do that. Make sure that you write and you tell that person, I see such and such. I'm not selling anything. I would generally like to connect with you. And I really would like to talk with you for 15 minutes if you have time, or email, make it even easier, about the kind of work that you do. And then, let the chips fall where they may. Make sure that you're following really good people, whether they are, the popular folk who have the blue check mark, so to speak, right? That you can follow them, and also that you're commenting, and also post. You don't have to post every day on LinkedIn. That's the beautiful thing about LinkedIn. Once or twice a week, once or twice every once or 2 times a week. I'm sorry, once every other week, right? That's what I'm trying to say. If you do that, that's enough for people to start following you. Ask your friends to like what you post. So if you go on and you post something on LinkedIn, call every one of your besties, call every one of your team members, call your homeboys, whatever, whomever you have to talk to, and say, listen, I just posted something. I need you to like it. I need you to make a comment. And they will do it. And then you tell them, if you do that, I'll do the same for you. That starts to give you presence out onto LinkedIn. I'm going to pause there, mostly because I need water.
So, and on that note, Denise, we do have a few more questions coming in, but I'm wondering if you think it's a good time to do breakout rooms, because I know you have some exercises for attendees. So
I'm wondering, let's do a quick one. Okay. So we're going to do some, you're welcome. I see. Thanks for the tips. You're welcome. Every time we come back from a breakout room, I start to think of Star Trek, no lie. I really do. Like your particles are left somewhere between here and there in Zoom, right? So I would love to hear from either one of my more quiet participants who is willing to step out and go beyond the comfort zone, or someone who is the extrovert and is like, I am ready to speak. But I would love to hear what some of the answers are to the two questions that I asked, which is what takeaways you have, and then how you would begin to implement some of the suggestions from this evening. And I am not averse to cold calling because I am Professor Patrick, also besides Dr. Patrick. So.
Can we just jump in, or are
Go
we
ahead.
supposed to raise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You know what would help
All right.
actually? If
Yeah.
you could raise your hand, and that way
Oh.
that would control people not talking over each other.
Oh, okay.
But since you
Sorry.
started, go ahead. You
All right,
started already. Go ahead.
Greetings. My name is Veronica, alum of your college, currently going for my master's at SPS. And so in my breakout room, I actually met another young lady who got her master's at SPS. And she was sharing some things, but one of the things that I need to work on is LinkedIn. I have a profile. Do I use it? Absolutely not. I just don't. And I've attended a lot of workshops and so forth. So the fact that I met this woman in my chat, right, who actually is graduating from SPS, I said, okay, I'm going to start following you. So I can start that tonight and get the ball rolling, because it's such an amazing platform. I just, for whatever reason, what I decided is I have to set aside time in my week. Not to say, oh, let me post, but say, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays, let me post, let me spend 20 or 30 minutes, and then it's done. So that's my takeaway. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love that. You have got to connect with these folks on here. And the fact that you said you were connected with somebody that you met in your breakout, I love that. And you should all feel free to connect with me as well. And as a reminder, when you connect, just put, 6th annual, and I'll remember that, or put, networking event or something like that. I love that. That's beautiful. And I like what you said too about, I'm only doing it Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? That's really good. Thank you, Veronica. Let's see, I think Marlon, we saw your hand up next, and then we can go on.
Yeah, what I got from my group and what I said, and from what you have been discussing, that never take no for an answer. Do not doubt yourself. Define your own leadership, or who you're a leader. Don't make people define you. And I use a quote, don't be, I don't remember which actress that said that anytime you get a turn down, that job is not for you. The one that you're right, the job that is out there is the one you're gonna get. That's for you.
Yes.
Yeah. I tell, and my discussion was, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I don't like Thomas, what's his name? Andrew Jackson, he said the only one that doesn't make mistakes is the one who does nothing. So keep working at what you do and keep pushing. That's what.
Beautiful. Man, you should have been up here speaking. What's up?
Well, I was a student government president for my School of Labor and Urban Studies. I was also the representative on the University Senate. I graduated from the Malawi Leadership Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I now work with the DOT, Department of Transportation.
Oh.
And I'm working with policies and administration.
So,
that's
awesome.
Yes,
That's
I'm
awesome.
going to be a staff analyst, and I like to analyze and working with policies and stuff. So that's my stuff. And I had my own chess club team at one time. I used to work with it in a school system just like you, the Jamaican Nights. So I still have that CBS interview with me on channel on the web. And I'd have liked to advocate. I was also the VP for the evening weekend and student network at Queen's College, which also did a lot of advocating. So that's, I got over my shyness by being extroverted, but I like to be like.
I'm going to use you as an example right now, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
No
It'll be good.
problem.
I promise you.
No problem. At
No.
least I get popular.
No, this is great. And so I want to use you as an example because what I loved about Marlon, what he just did, is not only did he respond and, share what he got from this, but he also was able to move into who he is, his experience, what he does now, and what his future goals are. That right there is a perfect way that if anybody were in here, right, or if anybody is in here who wants to work at the Department of Transportation, they're pretty good. They used to be one of my clients, actually, when I was in New York. But if anybody's in here, they would know I need to connect with him because of X reason. So that's what I meant by using you as an example. That was a great way to actually kind of use the platform to very quickly talk about who you are and what you do. So thank you, Marlon, for letting me use you as an example. And thank you for sharing. Mohammed, I think I saw your hand up next.
Hi, Dr. Patrick. I remember you from my communications capstones classes. I hope you remember me too.
I know you.
Yes, it's good to see you again. And I had a great discussion in the breakout rooms with other fellow participants from here. And Ray recommended a beautiful book. It's called How to Be a Power Connector. The book by Judy Robinett, and it's according to him, it's a great book to connect and to use. From today's event, it boosted my feelings a little bit about how not to be an introvert, and even being an introvert, and how I can push myself out of the comfort zone. And also, it's kind of a great way of finding that motivation again and keep connected and stay connected. I recently finished my MS in Information Systems from Baruch and working as a project manager, IT project manager. And I would love to connect with anyone who would like to be a mentor or an advocate, or any way I can help with.
I love that. See that? Use this platform. I love this. And knowing this young man, do it. Connect, right? Connect. Oh, thank you for sharing that. And if I don't see it in here, but if we could maybe put the title of the book in the chat for folks, if we can, that would be really helpful. So either Mohammed, if you could, or whoever had that and shared it in that room, that would be really nice. Thank you. Oh, I saw some other hands. What happened to them? Did they go, Nydia?
I think Raz, did you change your mind?
No, I just thought, other people may be wanting to. I'm also introverted. Very happy to be here though. So for me, my main takeaway from everything that was said here tonight is, the confidence part, that constant little voice of self-doubt in the back of my head. And seeing that, you know what, I know inside I can do it, but, maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm too this, maybe I'm too that. I don't know. It's always there talking to me, and it's a problem. But, and I was like applying for a lot of jobs, and I wasn't even getting an interview. And I did my research about how to simplify my resume because of the applicant tracking system, and how to match what's on the job description with what's on my resume, and how to connect with people on LinkedIn, and all this and that. And, and I was sharing in the breakout room that, I just kept believing that maybe God, has a purpose. Like I'm not getting a yes to all of these because God knows that it has to be something else, right? And then yesterday I applied for something that I felt really passionate about, like super passionate. And today I got the email right before this event that, hey, can we have, first phone interview? And I was like, yes, yes, I don't know if it's going to lead to a job or not. And You know, I have experience as a grant writer, but this position is the grant manager, which scared me very much. And I was like, I don't even know, but I really like them. And, you know, this nonprofit organization is really doing wonderful work, and I really want to be a part of it. And I feel like I have a lot to contribute. The money isn't there, but you know, if I follow my passion, maybe the money will follow somehow. Maybe I'll be able to land this huge grant, federal grant, and even I'll get paid a little more, you know, but it's just something is starting to shift and move. And I don't know if it has to do because my energy and my belief and my hard work and effort, you know, I know I'm responsible for the effort, but not the results, you know, and the results are not always there. But I just wanted to share with people because I did read in the comments that, you know, people were getting discouraged. And for me too, like I see how they want so many years of experience. Like where are you gonna get experience if you don't let me just let me prove my worth?
Yeah.
I know what I'm worth, you know, and I'm worth my weight in gold. Just give me a shot, you know.
You know what? I'm so happy that you shared your experience for a number of reasons. Like you said, for those who may be in the chat or still sitting here kind of thinking about when is my turn coming? And I see there's a comment here in the chat too. It can be timing. It could just be, you know what, like you said, it's God's will, right? That, right, whatever it is going to come. You do have control again over what you put out there in your efforts. This is a time, and I think we were talking about this a little bit while folks were in breakouts, but it's a very different time than it used to be. So it's almost like we are told that this should be the time for the employee, right? As opposed to the employer, but sometimes we're not seeing that. So I would encourage everyone to just be patient. And I like specifically what you said about following your passion. And maybe the money isn't there right now, but you know what? You can't start a race at the finish line. It doesn't work that way. You have to start off. And if you are a distance runner, you have to pace yourself, right? So you keep going. And once this goes, you just keep going on top of that and on top of that. And just your energy and all of that can be there to really push you ahead, and keep networking with people. I love this story that you shared. And I am so thankful that you stepped out of your comfort zone, right, to share that. So thank you. Thank you. Nikki, I think I see you. Yes. Hi, Nikki.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi. Good evening to everyone. I am the other lady Veronica met in the group, the breakout chat. And just before I forget, Raz and I were in class together a couple times. Raz, you're fantastic. I know you got this. So, you know, anytime you need a little boost chat, just ping me on LinkedIn. And I'm here because in our breakout room, I said before, you sending out 100 applications and getting back one call, and then the call just disappears after a while. It's so funny. After having this call today, I had a meeting before this call, and things just kind of like reiterated that I made the correct decision yesterday. I am full-time worker in corporate America, and trying to make the transition from the corporate world to the disability world has been indeed a struggle, because you're trying to get the other side to see I have transferable skills, and I also have the education that goes along with the transferable skills. I just really need that experience right now. And just last night, I had made a decision. I am going to start making a bigger presence on LinkedIn. Thanks for the reason making me realize I made the correct decision. And then today at work, somebody reached out to me and said she wanted me to work on a project on intersectionality. And I'm like, she said, I know you have the disability background. So I'm like, okay, because I also made that decision. I'm going to keep my corporate world, but try and creating webinars on disability whatever subjects I decided that I'm going to focus on, and create a presence out there so that I keep the day job, create a presence. And yes, when maybe somebody will knock on the door instead of you knocking on doors and no one opening, you
Mhm.
know, but I very encouraged by the our session today. And thank you, Dr. Patrick.
Oh, you're welcome, Nikki. And Nikki, for you too, thank you for talking about your experience and how you're trying to transition from one into another arena. It is challenging, as you just articulated, but one of the things I want to encourage everyone to think about, and I really want to highlight this, and then I see another hand up and I'll go there. When we think about applying for work, it really, we talked about this while breakouts were going, it can feel very much like we're in this very powerless situation, right? That we have zero power or zero influence on it. And what I want you to do is walk away today and flip that. So it's not an us versus them. It really is kind of blending the two together. It really is. And I wish I could remember how I said it. It said it so nice. I told somebody to write it down, right? But that's okay. I'll figure it out. It's really like saying, this symphony is going to be composed of an us and them, and we're going to work together and create this really beautiful masterpiece. And so when you are out there trying to change from one industry to another, this is where informational interviews come in handy, because now you get to know people in that circle. Like, I can't walk in here in Austin, Texas, which is now IT Central, right? I did IT, 30 years ago. I know it, but that's just not my thing. So I have to talk to people and understand, what are some of the concerns? Where are they looking for work? Do you know someone? What do you do? So that's where, you get to network and talk with people. I love the idea of putting your presence out there, Nikki, to make sure that there's a little bit of you that's out there that is either a workshop or something, anything, a blog, something that you can put on LinkedIn, something that you can just kind of email to people so that people see that you really are an expert in your field. So keep up the good work. And I want to hear, right, what happens with you and when you move over into your new role. All right, let's see now. I'm wondering, is this Audrea? Is that correct? If it's not, please correct me.
It's Audrea.
Audrea, see that? Okay.
I love my name. I get that, and that's a good opener with me when people doesn't pronounce my name correctly. It's a good open piece. But I want to start by saying thank you for taking the time out to enlighten us and just share your thoughts and your words. Because words are powerful, and they help move people, because when you have new thoughts, you have new actions. And then it gets people to get up and move. So I do appreciate that. What my story is a little bit different. I was actually fortunate enough for my boss, my ex-boss, actually referred me to a company for a new job when he realized that I was going back to school. I decided to go back to school during the pandemic. And he knew I was not happy where I was, but I liked what I was doing. Long story short, because of his referral, I was able to get the job on the spot. But my situation is that I'm using my age. I'm keep thinking about the fact that I'm 56 years old. I just graduated this past in December. I just finished and got my degree. And I keep thinking in the back of my head that, can I really build a career at my age? Can I really, or is it just a job? Is it just something that I'm doing to take care of my family and do all the responsible things that we adults have to do? Or can I really, really build a career at my age? And so I kind of keep thinking about that. And I've been with the job for about 4 months. I just got out of probation. I survived that. But I'm excited about it. I like the job. The money is great. But I just keep wondering, is it enough time to really build a career? Or is it too late, I could say, to build a career?
Oh, hold on. No. Audrey, I have to address that. I actually was sitting here, I'm kind of tearing up actually. And because I understand what you're saying and I empathize and I feel that, and I feel it deeply because I too have had that kind of thought go through my mind. It is never too late until your last breath is pulled out of your body. And we don't know when that's going to be, right? We don't know. It could be, I'm not even going to wish this. I'm not going to say it. It could be soon. I'll say it that way. Or it could be very, very later. We don't know.
Mhm.
If you don't start to walk down a path of a career to make yourself happy, or to make yourself feel whatever it is that you need to feel, accomplished, achieving things, being a role model, trying something different, then why are we here on this earth, really?
Mhm.
So it's never too late to start anything new. People have 3, 4, 5 careers, right? We have the first part of our life, the second half of our life. You've got third lifers, right, that are out there who totally change whatever they were doing. They may have been an accountant and then, they retire from that. And then all of a sudden they're a painter or an artist, or they go into music or something else. So please, if that you and anyone else, if that thought is in your mind, release that thought, release it. We want to try to achieve everything that we can in our lives to the best of our ability and go as far as we can. And who knows, if you change and you move into this career, all of a sudden, maybe it goes faster than you think it will. But I beg you, please, when that thought comes into your mind, and the same thing with Raz and everyone else who has those little demon comments that come into your head, right? And they tell you, oh, you can't do this, or oh, you're too old, or you're what? We don't listen to that. We're not listening to that. So you put on some good music, whatever it is. If it's, I don't know, if it's trap music, if it's gospel music, if it's a symphony and you want to hear Bach or whatever it is, put that on and get that stuff out of your head. And you just say, not listening today, not happening.
Thank you.
And if you get like that, you get on LinkedIn and you message me and you say, I'm having one of those days, and I will sit with you and talk with you. Honestly, anybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. That was, wow, that was really transparent. I appreciate that. Folks, let me know how we're doing. As I see we're maybe 10 till.
Right. So Denise, if no one has any other questions, I was wondering if you had any final thoughts, but every thought you've had, everything you shared with us has been amazing. So I don't know how you're gonna top and have like a final thought, but I'm gonna ask if there's one more thing you want to share with everyone.
The last thing I'm going to share, and then I'll get to a final pithy comment, I suppose, is I want to show you what's coming in terms of this leadership development guide. And I'm only going to scroll very quickly through it. I'm not going to pause for too long. So let me pull it up here. All right, so what you see in front of you is it's 16 pages, and it's just something for you to work on. This one, I didn't make it a fillable document. That takes too long. So this one, go ahead and print it out. This will be a great reminder for you of what we talked about in terms of your journey. There's a page here for you to reflect and to write your thoughts down wherever you are in that moment. And then there is a communication style assessment. Remember, I kept talking about assessments, right? This is a great way for you to understand at the moment where you may sit with your communication style. At the end of this also gives you a little breakdown of what the strengths are and what the trouble spots are with communication strengths. The thing that I will add is, don't think of this just as sending message. Think about this also as how you might receive messages as well. I'm scroll down a little bit more, and then here is a leadership skills inventory for you to take for yourselves. It's very quick and easy, and it'll tell you if you tend to, at this stage in your career, fall into technical skill, human skill, or conceptual skill. Once you figure that out from that assessment, there's a little area here that explains what all of that means and how you can visually, here you can see how you might want to move into top management and the skills that you need. Or if you're in middle management, or if you're moving up into middle management, the skills that you might need. The rest of this is kind of fun. So it kind of gives you some highlights so that you get to write down where you are in terms of your communication and your leadership skills and your style. But then you get to go through a SWOT analysis. And if you're not familiar, my business folks know this, and maybe some others, right? It's your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So you want to start off writing down what your strengths are. You want to maybe work on some opportunities, like where you think you can go from here. Maybe your trouble spots, your weaknesses. What are the areas that really are challenging you, or where do you have to grow? And then what are your threats, right? Now, not your physical threats, but maybe threats in terms of not being able to accomplish a goal that you're trying to accomplish. So quick example, if it's school and you want to go back and get another degree, or you want to get some kind of certification, it costs $50,000. Your threat will be, I don't know where I'm getting $50,000, right? So you can have that. And then it moves you into a leadership development plan, okay, where you get to actually map out your skill and your goal that you want to work on, what actions you are going to take, and then your timeline. It goes all the way down through LEAD. So you have a leadership development plan, an engagement and networking plan, an authenticity development plan, and then a personal drive development plan, which is really the D, and then your communication development plan. In each of these areas, how do you plan to grow? And then overall, what is that going to look like? And then finally, here I am. If you, when you get this, if you want to reach out, you can email me or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. So I'm going to stop sharing because you will get that, not this evening, but you will get it. I am very pleased with this conversation that we've had, and I'm so thankful that all of you were here to share in this conversation. You, believe it or not, actually poured into me this evening in terms of some of the things that we are going through as professionals, as adults, right, who are trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up. And I really appreciate it. I just thank you so much for letting me be a part of this evening. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Denise, this has been amazing. I've learned so much, and I hope that everyone has as well. And as Denise said, we'll follow up with some information, the recording. We do have just a couple of minutes, so I do want to share another resource for you all, which is the CUNY activation program, which let me just share the slides 1 second. Okay. So CUNY alumni activation, there's an alumni group. And there's also, the website has resources and links that are available to all CUNY alums. So please reach out to them, visit the website, connect with them on LinkedIn. We're here for you. And of course, reach out to your schools. We do want to hear from you. We want to know what's going on with you. We want to know about the successes as well as the challenges. So with that, if you bear with me, I just want to put up our thank you for joining us slide. It has been just wonderful. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Again, keep in contact with us, and we'll see you again next year.